Michael Bloomberg is a New York billionaire. So on the surface, he has a few things in common with Donald Trump, if you believe that Trump is a billionaire. It turns out he actually has more in common with him though, and that has to do with how he has spoken to and about women. And this is information coming from reporting before and during his time as mayor of New York, and also from a number of lawsuits that were filed against Bloomberg. So let's jump into this. Michael Bloomberg allegedly told a female employee, quote, "kill it," when she told him she was pregnant, according to the former Bloomberg executive's 1997 lawsuit, one of several. So, as a first thing to say, that sounds pretty bad, to tell a woman who just become pregnant to kill it.
Okay, so let's go through all the different layers of how horrible that is. First of all, on a human level, put aside anything else, who says that? So unfathomable. Number two, she works for you. Are you insane? Okay. Number three, this is the guy who's electable because he's going to convince Republicans to vote for him. The guy who said about a woman who's pregnant, "why don't you kill it?" Look, that's what the reporting is, that he said that. So he should certainly be asked about it and say, "Did you really say that?" Because that makes you by far the least electable of all the candidates. You won't ever get a single Republican vote.
Yeah.
I was really surprised too about the second thing that it was reported he said to that exact same woman. In the GQ article, they said that his next statement was, "Oh, what are you, number 16?" He was like upset at how many women in his company were pregnant or on maternity leave, which is something that now you see a lot of people saying, like, "Look at how many pregnant women we have. We love this. We're so great to them." And like that itself is like really a rough thing to say if you're in a position of power in a company.
Well, no, it's not just an inconvenience to
yes,
you.
So sorry that you're making more people to populate the planet.
Right. It's not just a rough thing to say, it's a totally unacceptable thing to say. He said, "Great, number 16." But okay, but you don't get pregnant. You're a guy, so it's kind of convenient for you to be like, "There goes women carrying the children of the planet again."
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and so look, you judge it for whenever he said it and take it in context, and we're giving you all the quotes, etc. And again, there's things that you say to friends, there's things you say in private, there's other things, and you could judge him for that too. It's all on you, right? When did he say it? Those are all different factors, okay? Then there are things you say to the women who work for you.
Yeah.
That's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah, and look, it's really unfortunate that the many times he ran for mayor that this didn't matter to people. Hopefully we've evolved since then. Why don't we find out through the course of this election? Those first two things had to do with sort of like, it's inconvenient to me as a businessman, which is horrible, but also he just generally speaks to women in a way that should be completely unacceptable. So even prior to her pregnancy, the woman who filed the lawsuit, this is Sakiko Sakai Garrison, she claimed that Bloomberg had antagonized her by making disparaging comments about her appearance and sexual desirability. Quote, "What, is this guy dumb and blind?" he's alleged to have said upon seeing her wearing an engagement ring. Quote, "What the hell is he marrying you for?" He also apparently pointed out another woman.
I gotta stop. No, wait. Look, the only fact pattern where that isn't immediately disqualifying is, the person you were kidding around, or you didn't actually say it. So I don't know how that got adjudicated, etc.
They settled.
So they settled, okay. And did he really say it? Maybe he didn't say it, or maybe he'll say he didn't say it. We have to see, etc. Right? But this one, and everybody's got different metrics for how you measure how awful these comments are, etc. But this one, to me, the last one is more unacceptable at work on a gradation of unacceptable. This one, just unacceptable on a human level. Who says that to someone?
Yeah.
To anyone? You shouldn't say it to a guy either, like, "Oh, you got married." Like, if you really mean it, who the hell would marry you? You're so ugly. Jesus Christ, who says that? On just a human level.
Like you were saying, all these different levels and what you say at work and what you say among friends. But the other thing that was in that article that was really shocking was when it was reported that in 2015, he gave copies of his book,
yes,
the autobiography that he wrote.
Bloomberg by Bloomberg.
Yes, yes, an excellent title.
I wonder if he has an ego.
But he gave that to all the employees of Everytown, his gun advocacy organization. And in that book, which was really old at the time, he mentioned having a girlfriend in every city, and there's there's all these old quotes that he made in public about how being a wealthy person in New York is a wet dream. I mean, those are public comments that are out there in his book, in his past interviews, and those also should be way more scrutinized than they are, and I can't believe it's taken until now to look at them critically.
Yeah, he just wrote that in a book.
Yeah.
Like Trump.
And gave that book back out 20 years later and was like, I still stand by this book.
Yeah, to
read
teen
it.
anti-gun violence activists.
Yeah, so look guys, context matters, all these different things that matters. The book was written in 97, but he gave it out in 2015. And maybe he regrets saying these things. That's why people should ask him, and maybe he has a good explanation. And unlike other people, I don't want to just shut it off and go, no, I don't want to hear anything.
Yeah.
Right? Let's hear what he has to say, and maybe also hear from the folks who he said it to.
Yeah.
So those are all important contexts. What did he do? And by the way, they have, and I'll be extra fair to Bloomberg, his actions matter more, and in his actions, and for example, stop and frisk were horrible, right? But in this case, they do have 26 weeks of paid leave, maternity leave, apparently at Bloomberg. That's fantastic. So you give him credit for that. We do full context here, but I will tell you this: if any progressive candidate had ever said any one of these comments, every reporter in the country would have already disqualified them, and you all know it.
Yeah, ask him, like Megyn Kelly asked Trump about his disparaging comments about women. They can do it to him, they can do it. And look, we get to watch his answer and see how authentic he seems to be. I wouldn't have your hopes up too high though, because he has actually, I'm gonna get in just a second to one where he has acknowledged that he said one of these things, and I want you to see his excuse that he gives. But so let's continue to his comments. Garrison claimed that Bloomberg pointed out another woman to her in a remark, quote, "If you looked like that, I would do you in a second." Now, that sounds bad, but wait until you find out what he meant by that. So Bloomberg conceded that he did say about another woman to Garrison, "I'd do her." He insisted though that he believed that, quote, "to do someone" meant merely to have a personal relationship with them.
Oh, get out of here. Everybody knows what it means. Just like do an honest apology. It doesn't, all right.
Yeah, it's like, I go on Christmas to see my family, to do them, to have a relationship with them. What are you talking about, you liar? I want to hear that on stage. Yeah, exactly, Jesus. So there is more though. The suit accused Bloomberg of making racist remarks, including calling Mexican clients jumping beans and telling a female employee who needed a nanny, quote, "All you need is some black who doesn't even have to speak English to rescue it from a burning building." I don't know what most.
Yeah, I'm not sure I even know what that means.
But I understand there's some racism there. So look, he did settle this particular lawsuit. There were others, but he settled in 2000. He claimed to have passed a lie detector test in 2001, denying the "kill it" comment. He said he submitted the polygraph because I expected that those allegations would surface in the news media as I began to explore the possibility of entering the mayor's race. Now look, that is certainly interesting if you passed a polygraph. He says he did pass it. They won't let anyone see the results. They've literally never let anyone in the last 20 years see those results.
Yeah, that's not how it works. Okay. No, if you pass it, it's super relevant context. Maybe he didn't say it. Unlike all the rest of the media, we're fair if you actually pass. Look, and by the way, the polygraph test is not dispositive, but it would be really interesting evidence. But if you say, "I took one, trust me, I passed it, but I won't ever let you see it," that makes me think, you didn't pass it.
But what does that mean that he was anticipating these allegations would come out? Did he anticipate just like any negativity would come out, or was he anticipating specifically a comment, "kill it," that he didn't say?
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, he knew that there would be controversy.
To be fair, he got sued on it. So that's why it's fair to anticipate.
That coming out.
Yeah. And they mentioned like 40 different lawsuits. And look, some lawsuits are settled for a small amount. You could reach whatever conclusion you want from that. Some are settled for a large amount. You could reach whatever conclusion you want from that. And it's not him necessarily doing all 40, it is his company. He does have a giant company. We're giving you all the context.
Yeah.
But I think there's a better way to go about this more honestly than Bloomberg is. And again, the double standard is what drives me absolutely insane.
Yeah, and by the way, so I got two more comments I want to read. And so a lot of what I've told you, this comes from the late 90s. So I want to fast forward a bit. I forget exactly for this one if it's 2012 or 2014, but he's mayor at this point. And you remember the news we told you yesterday where they were passing a living wage bill and he vetoed it and then sued the city twice to make sure that workers didn't get $10 an hour. Well, in that battle, he went up against New York City Council Speaker Christine Quinn, and he had apparently a pretty interesting relationship with her. To give you an idea, and remember, this is like 7-8 years ago maybe. So she said, the couple of days a week before I need to get my hair colored, he'll say, do you pay a lot to make your hair be 2 colors? Because now it's 3 with the gray. Once she failed to wear heels at public events. She says, I was at a parade with him once and he said, what are those? And I said, they're comfortable. And he said, I never want to hear those words out of your mouth again. This is a New York City Council speaker. He also apparently told colleagues, if women wanted to be appreciated for their brains, they'd go to the library instead of to Bloomingdale's.
Because he never goes shopping.
No,
he only goes to the library.
Exactly. Yeah, and there wasn't a citation in terms of the year, but reporting says that at one point, speaking of his Bloomberg terminals, he said it will do everything, including give you oral sex. I guess that puts a lot of you girls out of business, he said to his employees that were female.
That doesn't even make sense. Computers don't do that.
I like Lindsey.
That's a good
Like I'm saying that's what made me like. First of all, the whole thing made me mad when I read that quote. But second of all, it doesn't even make sense. You set up a joke for a punchline to demean women, and your joke didn't even work.
Plus, they have jobs. They work for you, you idiot. Anyway, so look, some of this is business related. Some of this is just horribly misogynistic. Some of it is recent. Some of it goes back a long way. And again, he can be really apologetic about this. Let's find out on the debate stage. Let's see how he confronts some of these comments.
I'm glad it came out. Like, I'm glad somebody took the time to compile it. Laura Bassett, right? She's the one who wrote it for GQ. I'm glad that she sat down and she got all of this, because now there's a body of work to point to and be like, okay, let's go through this one by one, sir.
Yeah, but also credit to Mayreed McArdle of Yahoo Finance and Megan Garber of The Atlantic. Thankfully, it's been a couple months since any of this was mentioned. Most of it is from back when he was initially running in the mayor's race. And like I said in the beginning, it wasn't enough to matter in that race, but hopefully post Me Too, people take this sort of stuff seriously, and he should at least address these things now that he's running as a Democrat instead of a Republican.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.